I thought it was so funny that I was on all fours being like wheeled on this bed. And I'm like, imagine what, I'm like, I didn't look around. I had my head down, but I'm like, this must look so ridiculous right now. And so they get me in the OR. They did a spinal tap. Um, and I was nervous because they said that depending on how the baby is, they might just have to put me out, or they were going to try to do a spinal tap. So they were, and I remember I really did not want to be. I wanted to remember like having her. So luckily enough, they were able to do a spinal tap. So they did that. My husband came in at like 7:04. They got him all ready to come in the OR, and at 7:06 they pulled her out of me. Yeah, then she was here, and I was just so, at that point I was so relieved and just happy that she was here, and that I would be able to go home soon because I had been there for so long. So in the last couple weeks there, I just remember feeling like I just wanted this pregnancy to be over. And I didn't want to not be pregnant. That wasn't it. But it was just, I wanted this pregnancy. I wanted to have her. I wanted this pregnancy to be over. I was over it. I was over being in the hospital, even though I knew it was something I had to do. I just was like, when you're in the hospital for a month and a half, it's like prison kind of, except that, this was like, the hospital was great. Everyone was great there, but you're in a place that's not your home, and you can't leave. So I just was over being pregnant at that point. And so I was so relieved when I had her. And another thing, I don't know if people that had C-sections or that are nervous about them, like, because that was like, I wanted to try naturally, but then worst case scenario, have a C-section. I didn't really care that much. But I remember when I was on the operating table, the doctor, I just remember telling her, I'm like, make it as little as possible. I'm like, just make it really low. Like, just try to do it as small as possible. And she's like, okay, like, yeah. And I don't know why, but in my head, I think I was thinking, when people get their boobs done, how they make such a small incision and they're able to put that big implant in. Well, in my head, that's how I thought a C-section was. And in reality, it's like that big. It's not small. And probably a lot of people know that. I don't know why, but I thought it was going to be like a 2-inch incision. And so when I saw it for the first time, I was in shock. But honestly, it's so far down. Like, I've worn bathing suits. You can't see it. She was healthy. She only had to be, they put in oxygen when she first came out. I remember they had to give her oxygen only for like an hour, and she was in the NICU for 24 hours. They just have to do it mandatory. I spent most of my day up in the NICU with her for that first day. And then I remember the next morning, it was like Christmas. I could not wait for them to bring her to my room. And I was so happy. It literally, like, I woke up so early that morning and I kept asking, like, when is she coming down? When is she coming down? When is she coming down? And then they finally brought her down, and it was just the best thing ever. And so I was there for, I think, 4 days after I had her. And then I finally got to go home with my baby and my husband, and I got to see my dogs again. And it was just like the greatest thing. But I remember when I was leaving, I was saying bye to, my nurse was like letting us out, and I started to cry. And just because it was a month and a half that I was there, and they're there by your side. You have like a lot of the nurses, you have them every day, and like they'd rotate a little bit, but I knew every single nurse. There was not one time when I would get a new nurse or anything. So it was always the same group of nurses. And I had a favorite nurse, and I was a favorite one of her patients. So anytime she was working, she'd always take me. And so me and her really bonded, and she was the one that was letting me go that day. And I just remember I just started crying when I was leaving, because I told her, I'm like, I'm sorry for being a pain in the butt, because I really was. Like, I just wanted to go home all the time. And most of the time when she would come in, a lot of the times I'd be bawling my eyes out, or when she would come in, I would start crying, just because it's, I don't know, it was very depressing being there. And they're always by your side. So I don't know, it hit me when I was leaving that I wasn't going to see these people that I see every single day anymore. And so it was bittersweet, but I couldn't wait to go home, and I was so happy to go home. And but all in all, I know this video is very long, and I don't know if it's helped anyone. I'm sorry for it being so long. I'm not even done doing my makeup. I'll finish it after. But I wanted to share this story because I really didn't, and another thing is I really didn't share this with a lot of people, because it was such a, I was just so vulnerable, and it really was depressing. I don't know, I didn't want to post anything online. I don't know, it just because I was grieving this loss of what I thought my pregnancy would be. And so I really didn't share it with a lot of people besides my really close family and really close friends. Besides that, I just was so sad about it that I didn't want to share it with anyone. So I thought I would share it now that I've gone through that, and I thought I would share my experience now that I've had time to reflect on it. And so I just hope that maybe this helps someone else who is going through a tough pregnancy, because you're not alone. And even though you feel alone, you are not. And it's okay to feel whatever you are feeling, because I don't know, for me, it was the biggest part was the grieving process of it, was the fact that I remember just thinking in the beginning, this is not fair. Why? So many other people, so many other of my friends had great pregnancies, no problems, and I just kept, I just kept thinking, why me, basically, in the beginning. Like, and I had to change my mind frame that, okay, I'm not getting out of here, and this is what my pregnancy is. It's not what I thought it was going to be, but you have to really just grieve it and go through that grieving process. A lot of the nurses, they said, they're like, when you go home, they just kept saying, when you're out of here and you go home and you have your baby, you're gonna forget about this. And a lot of people say that. However, I don't find that true for myself. I feel like I have PTSD from it. I think about it a lot still. I just think of, and it's not, I'm not dwelling on it, but I think about it a lot, and I think about the whole thing, the whole experience, a lot. And it's not, I don't know, I didn't forget about it as soon as I got home. It was really just kind of a freak pregnancy, and it was my first, unfortunately. So I don't know, it just was not what I expected it to be. But all in all, I'm so grateful that we got through it, and that she got here healthy, and that I am here healthy, and my husband is here, and that we were able to go through that together. And I still can't believe I spent that much time in a hospital, and I still kind of don't know how I got myself through it. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, I hope this helped someone, or I don't know, I hope people can relate to this. And yeah, so I'm just about done doing my makeup. That only took like 3 hours. Sorry, I should have probably just done this video by itself, but I just thought I just wanted to do it today. So I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I hope everyone stays healthy and happy, and I will talk to everyone later.